Welcome to the Rad Dad Redemption Podcast. Here's your hosts, Drew and Dex.
We did it.
We're here.
We fucking did it. We made it.
I'm so
10
proud of us.
episodes.
10 episodes.
10 episodes.
Did you think when we started out all this months ago that we would make 10 whole episodes?
No. And that's because I know that I don't see things through. So
there was a little bit of me that's like, we're going to do this for 3 episodes and just either like get too busy, quit, and our friends are going to be like, yeah, of course. We all saw
that coming, yeah.
Well, fuck you guys.
If you didn't believe in us, you can come down to my basement and suck on this big old horse wiener hanging in front of my face.
we also have gone up in a few ratings in terms of our NSFW content, I think, from episode 1.
Oh, yeah. I think episode 1, we played it very safe.
Yeah. Who's going to listen?
Yeah, we were like, oh, yeah, this is like, nobody's going to listen to this. Who cares?
And now that we know that's true.
now that that's become a reality.
Now that that's the reality, we say whatever we want. And you know what? I'm having more fun with it.
Yeah.
But congrats, man. 10 episodes. That's
a big
double
milestone. Digits.
Still going strong.
Stronger than ever, I say.
Yeah, I think we got a vibe. We still haven't got your brother to listen. He did tell us point blank the other day. It's like, what did he say? I'd love to listen, but it's just not very good.
Well, I think he was also like, he kind of echoed what our buddy Tom said like a few weeks ago, where he was like, I hear you guys talk all the time. And so like, why would I need more?
I can barely stand the live edition. Like I can't escape you guys when you're in the room. So like listening to a recorded session of your voices is not high on my list.
Yeah. Oh, it's the same jokes you make, but it's only the two of you.
Yeah.
There's no other people around.
Well, I mean,
it's a one-way conversation. You tuned in, you knew what you're signing up for.
Yeah, you listen, and it's like you get to imagine yourself being in the room. And I think that's a big part of it. My brother said the same thing. He said it was frustrating to listen because he wants to like jump in and be a part of the conversation.
That's fair. That's fair.
We draw you in.
with hard-hitting topics.
Oh, yeah.
News.
Sports. Yeah, okay, let's get right after it. Who the fuck owns that blue Chev that keeps parking in front of your house?
Alicia and I were talking about it last night.
God.
I think it's like the boyfriend of my neighbor's daughter.
He's right in your driveway.
I know.
And that's my spot. I park in your driveway.
Yeah, he covers like a good portion of the driveway. And I don't know. It doesn't bother me too much, so I'm not going to say anything. But like definitely I can see myself one day trying to go to work and he's just covering my driveway.
No way, man. He like, we almost beamed him the other day leaving the birthday party. You got to be a man. You need to like go into your yard, clean up some of your dog's poop, and like mush it underneath the door handle. So when he or they, whomever, goes to use their motor vehicle, they get a fistful of doo-doo, and they'll know.
They'll be like, I should. The problem with that is I feel like that really sets things high. Like that's very confrontational. Instead of me just being like, hey, don't park like an idiot anymore, please and thank you. I'm just escalating it right to dog shit.
Well, you're not gonna go tell him. You're not gonna like go do it and then like knock knock. Just so you know,
but
it was me.
I feel like he can narrow that down pretty quick. He'll be like, I parked over this guy's driveway and now there's dog shit in my hand.
Do you think that's a crime?
I don't know.
Imagine being
if you're a lawyer and you're listening, please do write in.
Well, we know lawyers are listening. We know that all of Southridge Chrysler's law office, their lawyer teams squad up. No, I just imagine being like the officer doing the report on that, and I'm like, yeah, so what happened? Like, I went to open my car, okay, and there was doo-doo smushed all the way in the handle, and it's all over my hand. What do you do with that info?
This reminds me of that episode of the movie This Is 40, when Paul Rudd and Leslie Mann are like sitting in the principal's office talking to Melissa McCarthy.
I know the one. It's one of Megan's favorites. Go on.
Yeah, and she's recounting all of the things that they've like said to her son, like the threats made against her son, and like how like that Paul Rudd like said something about her hair or something. Like I can't remember exactly, but she's like recounting all of this, and she's so incredulous and upset. And the principal's just listening, and they're so calm, and they're like, that doesn't sound accurate. And the principal's like, it sounds like you're kind of making some of these things up. You might be a little frustrated. And she's like, fuck you. Like, I'm glad your husband divorced you. I could just see the cop being the principal in that situation. Just like me, like a professional, middle-aged man, and like a young teenage kid who's like
unhinged.
He's like, this fucking guy next door put dog shit in my hand.
And you'd explain it like that. You'd be like, you think that I went to my yard.
I'd be like, I'm a professional. I've got a job. I've got a reputation up to hold. Do you think I'm going to go pick up dogs? I pay people to pick up my dog shit, okay? Like, I'm not. Meanwhile, I totally did it. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't perfectly craft the exact shape of a Cavalier's door handle with like several pieces of my dog's icy shit. Okay, like just say it out loud. It sounds ridiculous. Yeah, you're getting off the hook. It's a freebie. It's not a crime. Do it. Fucking do it.
Oh.
And that's the news.
that's what's happening in my neighborhood, folks. Yeah. There's the goss.
I hope he's not a fan. We're down to 29 if he is. He's not listening anymore.
I'm done with this podcast. Aww. He was like a super secret fan.
Yeah. Extra secret.
Yeah.
Well, that's why he's parking that way, is to get a little airtime.
Yeah. If you're listening, you live next door to me. Fuck you. Actually, no, he doesn't even live there. Sorry, not my neighbors. Not my neighbors. You're great people. Yeah,
that's kind of a thing. We toss a lot of fuck yous. Let's get right into the mailbag. Play that sexy jingle.
Mailbag time, motherfucker.
God, I love that jingle.
It always impresses. It always pleases.
We when we were over for your daughter's birthday, we made our dudes sit downstairs just to listen to it.
Yeah.
But then I thought you had it like preloaded up to be like, check this jingle out. Or no, it was a different one. It was the running over your boss with the ram.
Yeah.
But you didn't have it like isolated, so you had to scrub through.
Because I figured that was a one-time jingle, so I didn't save it as a separate file like I did with the mailbag one. And so I actually had to go through the episode, but I forgot where in the episode it was. And we basically just forced them to listen to a portion, like calculated. A very significant portion of the episode. Yeah.
All right, mailbag. This one, I got to be better at, incognito with who writes in. So this one comes from a Schminny Schmadnik, whoever you are.
Yeah, I could not figure that one out.
Hey there, Rad Dads. Long-time listener, first-time emailer here. I was just thinking it would be pretty rad of you dads to answer the following questions. Who would win in a fight? You can pick your favorite option, or we can answer them all. First one, grizzly bear or lion?
Grizzly bear.
Yeah, I think so.
I think just the weight difference.
Yeah, and they look like an animal that's gonna fight dirty.
Yeah.
I look at a grizzly bear and they're collecting poop and mashing it under people's door handles. Like they're throwing sand.
Yeah, a grizzly bear would escalate for sure.
A walrus or a warthog?
Oh. I'm going to say, you know what? I feel like I used a weight difference last time, and I'm going to go against that justification and say warthog.
Yeah. Okay, why?
So you've seen like the wild boars and shit that are like just they can tear up people and animals. Like they're pretty aggressive.
You've seen some of those reels, those TikToks of like dudes messing around with warthogs and like getting their faces ripped off.
We must have slightly different algorithms.
Yeah, it's pretty extreme.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like you get a tusk in some walrus and rip it wide open. Walrus guts everywhere.
And you go full Dimitri Martin on that one, and it's like in a water situation, I'd probably go walrus.
Fair.
But in like a land situation, like what?
Yeah, we need to know the venue, I guess.
Straight up warthog. A snail or a butterfly?
I'm going to say butterfly, if nothing else, for agility and ease of movement.
Yeah, I was going to say like Butterfree style, hit him with a stun spore.
Okay, so now these are Pokemon battles.
Use tackle. I mean, that's, yeah.
Who's going to win, Caterpie or Butterfree?
That's essentially what animal fights are. Like, nature is metal. It's just like real life Pokemon.
Yeah.
Continuing the email here. Also, this is an official request for some merch for the people. Never stop stopping, my dudes. You're great. Cheers, Vin. One last thought. If you add your email into more places, Instagram profile and episode descriptions, it might help you get more submissions. Which is that's a good tip.
That's a good point. it feels like some unsolicited advice for sure.
Well, this email was pretty solicited. I was like complaining. I was like, no one emails.
Okay.
So she's doing
Fair
us
enough.
a solid. So thank you. And then I think, solicit or not, maybe we should get the email out to the people.
We probably should. Yeah. Other than just on the podcast that a limited number of people have actually made it this far.
Yeah, episode 10. Thanks, guys. Thanks so much. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to take the fuck yous back. Love you guys. And the merch, I like that. We've talked about merch on the show.
I think it's just a process of sitting down and actually doing it.
We're lazy.
And you know what's funny is we will like text each other merch ideas. Like I sent you that one this week.
Yeah, I don't know. I read that and I was like, I want to buy that shirt. I don't want to produce that.
I don't want my
shirt.
name attached to it. Yeah, we won't reveal what it said, but it was super
I'd laugh.
funny. It was super
I laughed
funny.
super hard. Yeah, we're just lazy fucking idiots, and that's what the holdup is. But we should get some shirts, and definitely by the time we do Rad Dad Variety Night at Big Beaver Brewing.
You know what? I got some feedback from the last episode. We never said the date that it's going down on. Like we said, we're doing this in the summer, which is like a whole equinox.
We're doing this sometime when the sun is shining. Yeah, well, we did qualify that with it's very early stages. So yes, no, the date is July 22nd. Yes, Saturday, July 22nd, subject to change. But that is, in speaking with Big Beaver, the night that's written down. Gonna make posters soon. It's the night.
For posters, we should go like back to high school days when you would get like, your friend in like art class or whatever, maybe like graphic design or something, to do like, those classic like metalcore posters that you'd have for like the local shows.
Yes, yeah. I thought of that, or I was like, as a teacher of the next generation, I was just gonna like get two birds stoned at once and make it my like grade 6 art project. So I've got like weeks of planned lessons, and then just like whatever kid comes up with the hypest poster, I'm like, boom, mastery. Also, I'm gonna use this.
His parents sue you at the end of the school year for copyright infringement.
Mr. Hoover, what's this for? Don't worry, it's on July 22nd specifically.
Who's Dex? and why do we have to reference him bombing?
Yeah, man. I think it's gonna be a hit. I think the grade 6s are gonna do a great job making the poster. I'm really excited. So there's the news. Episode 10. What are we talking about tonight, my dude?
I think we had talked about we had talked about this a while ago because we wanted to record on Saturday after my daughter's birthday party. And then we just got so sidetracked and we literally sat down here and accomplished nothing because our dude Geese wanted to start shooting some video. There's a breaking news item right there.
Which is very cool. And I don't know if we can cat out of the bag his company name yet, because I think is he workshopping it, or is he...
He's getting it off the ground. I think we are going to be like his guinea pigs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about that's another new development. One way to reach more viewers and one way to spice up our podcast is to like do the video thing. And we've always been interested in it because that's what we spend a lot of our time viewing, is like the reels and like the actual videos of people doing the podcast. But I'd have thought it's hilarious, and it pertains to my work, which I've already been talking about. But like, I had this daydream the other day where like my boss pulls me in and just like plays a clip of one of our episodes and is like, "Is this you?" And in my head, I was like, "Well, what's the play? What do I do in that situation?" And like, full stop, I was like, I'm just gonna lie to him. I'd be like, "That is not me. What? Like, that's a different Drew from Okotoks. That's another dad with 2 girls married to another Megan. It's not me. It's an amazing coincidence. I can't believe it. Are they funny? Should I listen? Do you like it? Are you telling other people to listen? How many people at the division office
would you buy shirts?
Would you buy a shirt? Would you buy this shirt specifically? But yeah, I was just gonna like gutlessly lie and be like, "It's not me." So when we like transition to showing our faces, it changes the game up.
I'd just say it's all CGI and like AI voice filters, like the Donald Trump filter that people use these days.
Deep fake.
Yeah, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, people are deep faking me." I couldn't explain why.
Somebody's
got a vendetta out against me.
This is the era you could be like, "That's not me." It's not even my face. That's Arnold Schwarzenegger's face.
That's totally going to be a defense for politicians in the future when they get caught doing some shit. They're going to be like, no, that's deep fake.
Wasn't there videos of like Trump getting perp walked and it was like all deep fake stuff? Is this another Weibo fact?
Well, I mean, he definitely didn't get arrested. He was saying he was going to get arrested and he didn't. Yeah. So if you did see a video of him getting perp walked, then for sure it was fake.
Okay, yeah, no, I think I saw that on Weibo.
I was chatting with my friends, talking about all of our favorite restaurants in Shanghai.
And yeah, so not true. That was a deep fake. But yeah, we had the birthday party here, and we had plans to record, and it was kind of awesome because we always try to keep it conversational. That's when we record the best. That's when we have the best jokes, and we listen back and we're like, oh, we weren't even really talking about anything there, and it was fucking funny. Like, that's the vibe. But we did that for 3 hours with like all of our dudes, and we both felt the same thing. We're like, we kind of used up all of our funny.
Yeah.
Everyone had left, and I'm like, I'm fucking tired of talking. Like, I got nothing.
I'm tired of being the center of attention. No, I could never get tired of that. But we had used all of our good jokes, I think.
Yeah. We had a whole bit on like a Roomba.
Well, I think this needs to be brought up because you brought it up and it was hilarious. Tell me the news story that you read.
Was it a news story?
I don't know. You're the one that brought it up.
Well, I was talking about the Netflix documentary. That was the segue. There's that new Netflix documentary that talks about like the proliferation of free pornography, specifically Pornhub.
Right. I tried starting to watch that last night, and Alicia was like,
not into it.
No.
You can't even watch things about porn like that.
I guess not.
Yeah. It was a little taboo. I watched it with my daughters.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was no like nudity other than maybe a few nips here and there, but
yeah, gross ones too.
Yeah,
like they intentionally did it that way.
Yeah, they.
We're gonna show these, but you're not gonna enjoy it.
We ended up stopping when the girl was doing her. She was explaining her process, and she had like the Marie Kondo organized like dildo collection.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's when Alicia was like, a bit much. Like,
yeah, Megan gave me a side eye.
Yeah.
She's like, it's 10 a.m. Wait, what are we doing? We should go for a walk. So we were talking about that. We're talking about watching that, and what came up was like in the documentary they talk about like how a lot of these sites were posting stuff that's unverified, essentially voyeurism, illegal videos, and it's super problematic, obviously. And then it goes into detail like the legal troubles that this mind geek company finds themselves in. And then I was talking about the Roomba, unrelated, and you brought up that there's a lawsuit against like Roomba Inc. Big Roomba, who like I don't even know the company.
I don't think I brought this up.
I swear. And you're talking about how like there's a lawsuit against Roomba because like apparently their newer versions, Connor for Real style, like they're just like have like Wi-Fi capabilities and have like actual digitization.
Okay, so somebody else must have brought this up because I thought you brought it up.
Oh, see, there's a confusion. But yeah, you were talking about how someone's suing Roomba because they got like an illicit photo, an explicit, maybe not illicit, an explicit photo of them using the washroom, like taken from their Roomba, and they're like trying to go after them now.
Okay, I found the article. I definitely did not bring this up, and I thought it was you that brought it up.
Genesis. Okay, go on.
But there's a few guys, so maybe like you started talking about this, and somebody else said it, and then we just took over the conversation and made it ours.
Yeah,
that seems like a classic us thing to do.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, so yeah, Roomba is being sued because somebody found a video. A young woman, she's on the toilet, obviously going to the bathroom, I would assume. And yeah, her Roomba was basically transmitting these images from its camera, and somebody hacked the cloud where it stores a lot of the images to map out people's homes and posted, the image of this lady taking a dump.
Yeah, and where the bit came from was I was like, what a niche market. Yeah. Like, who's out there using the internet and searching like that? We're just having this conversation about like this flood of explicit videos and images that like anyone has access to. Like you just click a button, like, are you 18? You're like, yeah, like a little 12-year-old kid, like no problem. There's no it's not deficient. Okay, there's a lot out there. It's not hard to find. But like, what's the niche market that's like, I want stolen Roomba shit pics. Like that is some dark web stuff.
It's so specific.
It's so specific. And like, who's searching that? Like, it's, I think, and the conversation went in a way, it's like, I'd be more mortified, not if my wife knew that I was watching pornography, but if she saw like the search bar and like that was one of the like recent searches was like voyeur Roomba shit pics. Like that's a really hard conversation to have.
Yeah, like how do you explain that one away?
But also the dude that like, you know, I just picture the person in the basement with like 6 screens, like he's on the dark net and he's like hacking to get those photos. Like that's a lot of effort.
Yeah, he's like brute forcing the back end code, and he's like getting all these pictures that weren't even meant for like anybody to consume. They're supposed to be stored. Yeah. It's to think somebody that has that amount of like capability, like think of the things they could accomplish, they were like, no, I want Roomba videos of chicks going to the bathroom.
This guy's like, he spends half his time hacking Russian drones for Anonymous and the other half of his time hacking Roombas to see if anyone was vacuuming with the bathroom door open. Like it's an equal split.
Everybody listening to this right now with a Roomba.
No one's listening anymore. I don't know. Yeah, everyone with their Roomba is like going to smash it.
Oh yeah, or at least
style.
Close the bathroom door.
Yeah, get some tape over your Roomba camera, or
I feel like that defeats the purpose of having the Roomba if you tape over the camera.
Well, because I'm gonna sound like an idiot here. I didn't think it was like a thing that like took pictures to like know where it was. Like I thought it was like, I don't know, I'm gonna sound like an idiot, but I was like sonar or some fucking shit.
I think the old ones were that way. They were using like sonar or LiDAR to just map out your room.
LiDAR, that sounds like a made up word. That's
a real one.
LiDAR?
LiDAR, yeah.
Okay.
That's what a lot of the self-driving cars use.
Okay.
LIDAR.
All right. I believe you.
But a lot of the self-driving cars, and that's why I assume Roomba is probably using similar technology, they're using cameras because cameras can capture more detailed images, more depth of field. So obviously you don't want your self-driving car to run over a child, right? So it needs to be very detailed. So maybe that's where Roomba made that transition to cameras. And before you know it, you've got pictures of your customers out on the internet going to the bathroom.
Yeah, I don't trust any of that shit. I don't even like the Alexa or the Google. We've covered that base. But just like all these things in your house that like are constantly listening to you and now taking pictures of you taking craps. It's a terrifying world.
The robot uprising is just going to be funded by blackmail.
That's how they're going to get us. It's not going to be like a T2 situation where they're like coming out and murdering us. They're just going to like shame us into hiding. It's like, I know what this guy really does, and I'm going to tell everyone about it.
I'm going to be like, I'm going to be in the town square trying to rile up the people, and I'm going to get an email from like my fucking doorbell camera. Like
the doorbell cam ones are hilarious. Do you get those on your reels?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got a doorbell camera, but
have you ever had any like funny stuff?
Not really. It's I would say the funniest ones are like the deers just walking up my driveway or like my walkway there,
coming right up
and just eating all my plants. That was my favorite in the summer. Was just I'm like, what's happening to these nice tulips that the previous homeowner planted, or the lilies? And it's just a deer coming through in the middle of the night, like 1-2 chomp, your garden's gone.
You're trying to see if it was the blue Chev guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, but the doorbell cameras, and sometimes I feel like a lot of those are staged.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I get that feeling with a lot of the stuff I that comes across the old algorithm, but the odd one is just like, like dudes had to go out front for a minute and he's like just huge farts. I think I'm searching huge fart doorbell ring videos.
Yeah, you're on Pornhub. Huge fart doorbell XXX.
Or just like there was one I saw the other day, and it was just like someone showing up real late for a rendezvous, but they're at the wrong door.
I think I've seen one where like a dad is leaving for work with his daughter, and he's taking her to school, and he's just like middle-aged dude, like career man, and his daughter's like, "I love you, Dad." He's like, "Oh, that's sweet. I love you too." She's like, "Not as much as Mom, but yeah," and just like walks away, and he's just like locking the door, and he's like, "Yeah, thank you for that."
Yeah, thanks for that. That was unnecessary. Yeah. Oh, poor dads. We have it rough.
Not really.
Yeah, but all of this, comes after the fact. We were going to talk about home renovations and like being a man.
being a real rad dad.
Yeah, man. Play that Being a Man home renovation jingle you've been working on.
I'm just gonna play like a Chevy commercial.
Like a rock. Okay, can you play Like a Rock, please, for just a couple minutes?
We'll have to see what the rights cost for that one. If it's more than $0, probably not.
Yeah, I always wonder, like, are we gonna get busted? Like, are they gonna?
There's a lot of going back to algorithms and AI.
We're never talking about home renos.
No, we're not getting that. We're gonna blue ball the entire audience about fucking.
I want to know what these guys do to renovate.
This is like if you were turned on HGTV and you're watching like Island of Brian, but he never actually gets to the island. He's like stuck at the airport.
I would watch that. That's hilarious.
He's like arguing with Air Canada about the compensation they need to provide. Anyway,
those motherfuckers. They'll get you. So I lost my golf clubs.
Yeah, let's just pull that episode back up. The one locked in the vault.
Oh yeah, we had to can the whole thing. Yeah. So algorithms, back to the show's topic.
They will, like, record companies and like, you know, production companies, they will literally just scrape every video on YouTube, and it's just looking for the same waveform.
It's an automated process.
Yeah,
as soon as you upload it.
You know, you don't even have to be reported. It's just automatically looking for all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty hard to get it through now.
All right, so play Like a Rock pitched up in reverse.
I'm gonna write my own version of Like a Rock.
Oh yes! Oh, please cue up the acoustic version. You were giving us a little hallelujah on the guitar.
Yeah. I knew the first chord progression.
All right, here's Dex's version of Like a Rock. I can't wait to hear this.
No, I don't.
I believe in you. You're not busy. You don't have anything going on.
Yeah, no. I got lots of time to be doing cover albums.
That's one of my first memories of you was listening to like your dad's albums, like his CDs.
Yeah.
Do you still have any of those kicking around?
No.
Oh man.
Sorry.
And I don't want to talk about that.
That's a story for another episode.
Oh, okay. Home renovations, man. What do you got on deck?
I mean, we're sitting in my home renovation right now.
Yeah, your basement. And you, admittedly, you were like, "Can you help me with this?" And then I think I drug my feet a bit, and you were just like chomping at the bit. And every time I spoke with you, you're like, "No, I did that already. No, I did that already."
My wife was cracking the whip because she was like, "You told me it would be done in the summer, and now we have a baby, and it's not done." So I was getting it. I was getting the heat.
You were under pressure.
And I turned to good old YouTube.
That's funny, 'cause when I came here, I always saw her working on the basement.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, she did all the painting and stuff for sure.
She did a good job.
Yeah, but I turned to YouTube to learn a lot because I am not that handy. Like I specifically remember in grade 7 shop class, I was like delayed from being able to use a lot of the tools and equipment because I was just a danger to myself and others.
You were held back.
Did you ever take shop at OJ?
Yeah, well, and then that's definitely the renovation angle was like we neither of us, if I may be so bold, were ever handy guys at all. And then you just like become an adult man, and it does, like, there's a necessity there, and you're like, well, where am I going to learn this stuff? I did take shop class, and I was fucking terrible. I was like bad at building stuff, and I was like a dickhead kid for sure.
Oh yeah, well, I think, you know, especially, you know, I can respect teachers in that situation. It's like you've got power tools that can literally saw somebody's hand off in the blink of an eye, and you have to watch, you know, 20 plus grade 7 students and make sure that they all go home with all appendages at the end of the day, right? And so I remember, I forget his name, the shop teacher, but
the cool one or the bad one?
The cool one.
Mr. Perry. I think.
Yes.
Mr. fucking Perry was his first name.
He was dope, but he took safety very seriously, as a shop teacher should. And I remember the first day he put out this test. It was like a quiz or something. It was like day 1. And at the top of the test, it said, "Please read all bullet points and instructions before beginning the test and then hand it in." And so like that's what it said at the top of the page. And me being like, obviously I'll just fucking, like, this is basically an open book test. I'm going to read each bullet point as I need it. So I went to question 1, like went back to some of the bullet points, filled them in. And then you get to the last bullet point after you've just filled in this whole thing with pen. And it's like, if you've read this far and have not started, please hand in this blank quiz. And so it wanted to like test your attention to detail.
No.
And so
You'd written all over it.
I had marked this thing up. It was
got
just
you.
blue. Oh yeah, blue pen all over. And I'm like watching all these kids who have not written a single thing go hand in their test way before me. And I was like, are they asking questions? I wasn't really cluing in. And then I saw that final bullet point and I was like, fuck.
Did you just crumple it up?
Well, I took it up and I was like, I didn't follow the instructions. And he's like, yeah. So, and I remember.
That's such an authentic assessment. I'm going to go full dork teacher for a moment. That's brilliant.
Oh yeah,
I love that.
It was
That's
good.
Awesome.
It accomplished what he needed to know about who can follow instructions and focus on very important details.
And it was not you.
And it was not me. And I remember like all the kids that did do it properly, they got to go back and fuck around with the drill press and like do some basic things. And I had to watch like an hour-long video about dudes just getting their fucking arms ripped off and by the table saw and shit. And yeah, that was pretty wild. But so, and then I obviously did not enjoy shop class because I was just like the remedial shop class student. I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, I remember Mr. Perry was awesome. Like, we just get him off topic and he would tell like wild stories. Like, he had like life experience. That's what I remember about Mr. Perry. I don't remember like learning anything about building. And I don't remember I don't remember the tests. I do remember like telling my mom, like, we build skateboards, like the prefab, like you just had to like cut them out and then paint them, put grip tape on them. You know, use the jigsaw. And then he's like, you can build whatever you want. And I wanted, like, I just got my own room. And I wanted, like, a big entertainment unit to fit my, like, Zenith 15-inch tube TV.
Weighs 400 pounds.
Oh, my God. And my mom, I, like, because you could just, like, basically fill out a form of what you wanted. He was a very organized teacher. And you'd bring it home and be like, this is my project. And so kids are building, like, the most random and ridiculous things. Poorly, I might add. And I wanted to build this entertainment unit, and I was like, yeah, I need 3 sheets of fur and a full board of MDF. And Mom's like, this class is costing a fortune. And then I proceeded to like fuck it up. Now I'll never forget, I had like done all the cuts and it was like time to assemble, and we like went to assemble it and it like did not line up. So Mr. Perry, being a cool dude, like just grabbed the skill saw and like did his magic and like fixed my mistakes. But in order to do so, he had to trim like 33.3% repeated off of this thing to like make it square. So it didn't even fit my fucking TV. And my brother and I had to go get it, and it was huge. It was like this whole thing. We like moved it into my room, and I was just like such a bitch kid, being like, I hate it. You know, like I don't want. It's still in my parents' garage. Yeah. But
memories.
But he was the cool one, and then he pieced out, and we got like Mr. Weiner. Did you ever take it with him?
Was that his actual name?
No.
Okay.
No, I called him Mr. Wiener because, like, within the first month of school, someone sharpied a wiener on his F-150. And he, like, was flexing on the class, being like, just so you know, I know how to get that off. We're like, oh, cool, man.
No, I did not take shop class after grade 7 because like I said, I just didn't really enjoy it because, you know, hindsight being 2020, it's because I was a danger to me and everyone around me. And I was limited in my ability to actually enjoy shop class the way the other kids were enjoying it. So I was like, yeah, no, I think I'm going to go do a different option class.
Grade 9 shop class is where Megan and I fell in love.
Ooh.
Yeah, 100%. I showed her the dark side. She was a real nerd, and I was just like, watch this. And I remember going in. They had the back room where they'd keep all the projects. And I was just like breaking birdhouses, just like taking a hammer. He had this one. It was Mr. Wiener, not Mr. Perry. Mr. Wiener had this project where you had to like, you know, design a house, but you were just allowed to use like little 3/4 pieces, like put onto like particle board. And I remember just going back there with a hammer and just like finding kids that I didn't particularly like and breaking their project, and then finding projects that were done well, and then telling Mr. Wiener that they were mine and getting amazing grades. And there's something about it. Megan's like, there's something here. I want to spend the rest of my life with.
There's a lot of potential here. I want to raise a family with this man.
Yeah, that's a true story. She'll probably, if she listens to them all. She audits them. She'll listen to this bit. She'll be like, God damn it, that's 100%
accurate.
That's 100% accurate. There's no fact check coming up. That's a real story.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, not handy, never handy, not even needing to be handy until you're faced with like owning a home.
Yeah.
And you bought this beautiful home. We bought, like, our first home was a shit box, like a 1981, and like very like Trash Can Billy had done a lot of his own projects there.
I like how Trash Can Billy makes repeated appearances in our episodes.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Love him. Shout out Trash Can.
What up, Trash? But you know what? I horned in, so I'll come back to that. You did this all. You YouTube this all, and it looks fantastic.
It does, not without some strife and difficulty along the way. And I think what I learned and why I would never make this a career, I have awful like spatial awareness. So when I measure something and I'm like picturing it going in, and a good example is the tile on the bathroom floor. I'm doing my first tile job and I've got these tiles and I need to cut some of them and fit them in. And if you've ever done a tile job, sometimes you don't know, walls aren't always square, right? They might be a little angled and whatever.
That's true, though. That's a real thing. You can be square and the room is not. That happens all the time.
Yeah. And, you need to cut around your drain for the toilet and all of that, right? So I'm going in, I'm measuring, and I'm like, okay, I've got these tiles were like 8" by 8" or something like that, right? And I need to cut it out so it'll fit around the door. And so I'm measuring, I'm like, I need to cut out 1 inch here and 1 inch here, and then it'll work. So I go upstairs, get the tile saw, cut it out, and come downstairs, and I've like just completely fucked up this tile, and it like doesn't measure in at all properly, and it's on the wrong side. And I'm like, how, like, this shouldn't be, it's a square piece of tile. This should not be that hard to like just at least make the cut on the right part of the tile. So my spatial awareness, I lack a lot of that. It happened when I was doing a lot of the noise reduction insulation. I'd like look at it, measure out this weird spot in between the studs, and I'm like, okay, I got to cut a piece of this insulation because it's like the rock wool, and I go cut it, and it would not even come fucking close to fitting. And I'm like,
so short.
I'm just like, how did I mess this? It's 2 measurements. How did I mess this up? So yeah, that happened a lot. Baseboards, I could go on and on about all the times that happened.
The baseboards, I've had experience with that where you're like, you cut it and it's too long, and you're like, okay, like back to the drawing board, like I'll shave a bit off. Then it's too short. You like read, it's like, you should accommodate for 10% waste. I'm like, well, I'm every second board I'm fucking up bad. This is an expensive reno.
Yeah.
We did a lot at the house when we moved into our old spot, and like I said, it was not a Rolls Royce, and that was kind of sick because we could only go up. And like as I did renovations, and like I said, it comes from a place of necessity. You're not handy. You can learn anything on YouTube. I had the great resource of Megan's dad just being like the handiest man on the planet. So I had like a lot of hand holding at first. Then you just do it enough. And it'd get to the point where like we did, I think, 5 or 6 rooms fully. Like I scraped the stipple off the ceiling in the main room and refinished the ceiling. And like I got way, way better at it. But the renovation that like I'll never forget in that house was when we were selling it. And we had like been through the ringer with these buyers. Basically because they like came in, they're like, whoa, like this is what you're asking, and here's all the stuff we want you to fix. And so we'd gone back and forth a whole bunch, and we really did have like quite a hill to climb in order to come to terms, get the conditions off, and sell the house. And we'd done it all, and we were like, yeah, like money's coming on Thursday sort of thing. And then like in the final hours, last 2 days, we sent in our real property report, and our shed wasn't listed. And so we're like, yeah, no big deal. Like, it's a cool shed. It's a nice shed. You'll love it. Like, no problem there. And also, we had bought the house with that same report. It was the original, like, 79 for the 81 build. Like, it obviously had been good enough for the last, like, 6 owners.
Yeah, I mean, for a shed, as long as it doesn't exceed the bylaws, like the municipal bylaws, then you're good.
Which it did.
Oh, well.
Which it did, but no one, we had never asked. Like, when we bought our first realtor, I hope he's listening. Fucking, he missed a bit. So we never asked any questions. Oh yeah, he missed a ton. That's actually bringing up other reno stories I'll get to. But we never even thought. We're like, yeah, it's a big shed. It's rad. I'm excited to just pile it with all the garbage I don't want in my house. I'll never have to deal with this. And so we had to get, like, on the Tuesday, closing on the Thursday, they hit us back with, like, you need to get a new assessment done. And if you don't get it done, we're going to withhold all this money. And like the soonest we can get an assessment is like well into October. The sale of our house was like in September. And we were just like so done with it at that point. We kind of went back and forth with the lawyers and with the buyers, and we're like, like, can we come to a solution with this thing? And basically, just, it was a little creative. They came back and said, like, a little bit of a stiff arm. Either you get rid of this shed or you get an assessment. And I just like called the boys in, and we had like this epic demo, like jackass style. And this thing was huge. Honestly, it was like 12 by 14, real sturdy construction. And we were just like Hadouken, just mashing boards. We had an assembly line going to the trailer, and we ripped this thing out of there in like, I want to say like 6 hours, and left this gaping shit mud hole. All Megan's sisters came out, and it was like a huge amount of work, but it was an incredible and very satisfying fuck you. It was a Cavalier door handle full of shit to the next owners. They're like, you don't want this nice shed that's like bigger than you're even allowed to build and like is totally not a problem. Like, we're gonna make a problem for you. Yeah, that reno, that was a fun one. I had a great time with that. Yeah.
I like that. I remember when we actually bought our house in Airdrie. We had, everything was basically all done, and a few weeks before, they had this huge swing set in the backyard, and they were like, hey, we want $1,000 for the swing set. And it was just like a wood swing set. I was like, you can buy the same one at Costco brand new for like $9.99, right? And so I was like, take your fucking swing set.
Yeah, pack it up.
I was like, I don't care. Go take it. And then they come back and they're like, okay, we'll sell it to you for $200. So right there is like an 80% discount.
And you're like, no.
And I was like, no, you can take it. Because I sold this house. Luckily, we sold in like a seller's market.
Yeah.
And so I told the people, you're taking this goddamn swing set. But I wasn't like, you have to pay for it. I just told them, I'm not moving it. When you get to the house, the swing set's going to be here. And I knew that those people were like trying to get me for like an extra $200. I was like, no, you can take it. I don't need it for $200. So like, fine, you can have it.
Yeah, it was
just called their bluff.
Man, what a time to buy! I remember when we first moved in, we had like an old hot tub that had like been defunct land for like 20 years. There was like a big wasp nest in it and all this shit, and they're like clearly pooping and peeing in it. No, they didn't do that, but it was disgusting, and it was just like part of the deal. They're like, you buying this house? There was actually so much shit like that. When I was telling the shed story, I forgot about one like hilarious one that like I couldn't believe it. So our microwave, which is like, it was like a hanger with like the vent underneath. What do you call that? We're obviously still not that handy. There's a specific name for it, but like the microwave above your range, the microwave fan combo.
Yeah, it's like an over the range microwave.
Yeah, sure. Over the range. Play that over the range jingle. So we had this microwave, and I remember like lots of times I'd get up and I wouldn't want to make a new pot of coffee, and I'd microwave like old crud coffee. Like I said earlier in the episode, lazy fucking guy. And one morning I was rushed, and I'd put a cup of coffee in and microwaved it, and then like got busy, left for the day, never thought of it, never thought about it. And then just like by happenstance, never used the microwave again until the next morning when I was doing the same routine, going to microwave another cup of cold coffee. And I open the microwave, and my coffee from the day before is in there. And I go to pull it out. It's frozen solid. It's ice. And I'm like, what? Like, what's going on with the microwave? Why is it also a freezer? Like, this is crazy. So I told my father-in-law, Uncle Kev, super handy guy, and he's like, sounds like something's going on behind there. Like, you're going to want to check your insulation, blah, 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 blah. So, like, we pulled this microwave out, and what we found was insane. First off, the vent that like vents like all your grease and all your shit was just like not going outside. It was going up into the cupboards above. So just like this grease trap was just like this MDF grease trap of like 20 years of shit, and like was just molding these boards. And then the vent itself, do you remember the Miracle Blade commercials with like Chef Tony cutting out drywall?
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like that would have been a step up. This guy just like punched holes in the drywall, and there was this like flap crudely stuck in there. And I opened up the flap, and I did like a double take, because when I opened up the flap, I was just looking at my neighbor's house. I'm like, wait, what? And it's cold in Alberta, man. We're like -35 nights, You can look up, the town of Okotoks has this shit where you can like see your home's energy efficiency.
Yeah.
And like, so this started this whole thing because we had like all these French doors in the back. We're like, how energy efficient is our home? And it's like color coded, right? Like green is good, orange is like meh, meh. We're like maroon,
Like the darkest red that a computer can
like,
display.
yeah, we got like punched holes out behind microwaves and like all these fucking doors. Yeah, man. But it, like, again, to keep it in with home renovations, all that stuff, like it was very invaluable. Like we got to go through that, and now I know that like when we buy our new place, I don't want to fucking do anything.
Yeah, I mean I think that's a good lesson is when you're doing some of these renovations and stuff, you learn why professionals are paid the way they are. To you get a contractor and they quote you like, yeah, it's gonna be $4,000 to do your bathroom, and you're like $4,000, and he's like, it'll take me a weekend, and you're
I'm gonna miscut 6 tiles in a row.
and then you realize, I can do it myself and waste a bunch of material. And for myself, I was like, well, I'm just going to buy the tools. I don't have any tools. So, I have tools for the future, but I've done the same thing. I'm vowed not to ever do home renovations again.
You bought it all. You're all ready for the DIY TV
So,
show. You're like,
I
I'm good.
maybe saved like $1,500, and it took 4 weeks longer than it should like a proper professional.
Yeah, I'm in the middle. There's some stuff I'd be like, yeah, no, just hire. It's just not worth it. But I think I've learned enough now. Like there's some things, like flooring, no problem. I've done enough of those. I did a big wood wall in Megan's room as a surprise for her one time. That was cool. Like fun little projects, stuff like that. But when it comes to like, I don't know, plumbing or like anything, any space you're gonna spend like a lot of actual time in, like, yeah, no. I'm not.
Hire out,
I'm
get
not a
it done.
professional.
Yeah. I'm kind of, I'll do a few small things. And I think, a good tie-in for people who maybe aren't like homeowners or aren't handy around the house, but maybe they like working on cars. I think a good example of this is changing your own oil. And I think Dan brought this up on the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where, you're like, man, you go into the oil change place and it's like $100 for full synthetic, and it takes them
at least
10 minutes, and it's you're like, I can change my oil. What, you got to take out the oil cap, let it drain, change the filter. Changing your oil is an easy enough process. The problem is synthetic oil, not that cheap. It's like they're not making on a huge markup on synthetic oil,
and
right?
they get to buy
they
it
buy it in bulk,
yeah.
right, in the huge drums. And then you also need a few, like you need an oil pan, and you need to buy the filter yourself. You need the time to do it. You might need some jack stands and stuff. And so I've experienced this too, and the first time you change your oil with the expenses of the things that you have to buy to prepare for that.
It takes you 2 hours because you fucking suck.
Takes you 2 hours and you save $5.
Yeah.
Right? Off of going to like Great Canadian
You're
Oil
a
Change.
man now.
Yeah, I'm a man. And it's like, no, I think I'll pay for the convenience.
Oh yeah, the first time I ever changed oil was on like my dad's truck, and I was trying to be like cool and like cool in the sense I was doing it myself, but also like, Dad, I changed the oil in the truck. And I think I had like, as I put the new filter on, I like couldn't get it tight enough, or didn't know how tight you put a filter on. I also didn't lubricate the ring, and then like managed to like crush the filter like a pop can, and then like putting the little friggin' not lug nut. See, I'm not a car guy, guys. Hot car guy talk here. Putting the bolt back into the oil pan, I like cross-threaded it, so like it was never ever coming out, or like the next time someone changed oil, like that was it. It like had to be replaced. So I caused a lot of damage, and I was like, I should have paid. Back then it would have been like, it was like, $59.95 oil change. Like, yeah, would have been fucking worth it.
Do you find after you do some things, like either on a car or in the house, you sometimes get overconfident and you fuck it up the next time worse than when you did the first time you're ever doing it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
You're like, I've done this before.
Oh yeah. And
no problem.
I've got 2 examples of this. So one, Alicia's battery in her RAV died. And I was like, I can change a battery. It's like one of the easiest things you can do in a car, right? So take out the battery support, take out the battery, put in the new one, hook it up. And I'm doing the support again, but it was cold out. That's why her battery died. It had frozen. And I'm wrenching it back in. And I just like over tightened it and just like sheared off the head of this. and the rest of the bolt is just like stuck in there, and it's like flush with, but obviously it's not holding on the battery support. I was like, oh fuck. My solution,
I'm not a pro.
yeah, my solution was like, zip tie the battery down. And that's what I just had, a bunch of zip ties, and I just zip tied the battery to like the platform that it sits on. And then she ended up taking it into the Toyota dealership so that they could like drill out the bolt and then put a new one in and properly secure the battery. Yeah.
I've actually, this is an admission. I hope my father-in-law doesn't listen to this one. I just like take off the like support and I would never put them back in. I'm like, the battery's heavy. And I asked him one time, I was like, is that dangerous? He's like, yeah, you got like a friggin' 85-pound battery, like not fixed anything. Like, what if you get in an accident? It's gonna like shoot out at someone. It's a bomb. I'm like, good thing I don't do that. I had that one time. We did the front hall closet and had a lot of help from Kev. And we like pulled the old bar down, redid all the trim. We did a really nice job. And like I said, I had a lot of help, a lot of support, but we did like a super nice job of this front hall closet. And it looked really good. We like built new shelving, a little cubby for shoes. And I gave me that confidence. I was like, I can do this. This is no problem. And so we were having some like storage issues upstairs in our like ensuite. Is that what you call it? No, that's a bathroom. Again, not handy, but like our walk-in closet in our master bedroom.
Yeah, please don't shit in your walk-in closet.
Yeah, don't shit in there. They don't like that. That's another story. But so I was like, no, like I've done the closet, and I'm not only like gonna do this closet, I'm gonna do Marin's room closet, and it's like the same formula. I'm gonna build the same cubby, the same shelf, same thing. Did Marin's room, turned out great. So I'm gonna do the one in our master bedroom. And again, saving money, being like real cheap guy. I always buy Oops paint. Like you go to Home Hardware and it's like you could get like Beauty Tone for like $50 for like the big nice one, and or you could just get like the $9. Some 15-year-old kid mixed the wrong paint or someone bought the wrong paint, and I found this like nice greenish taupe-ish Oops paint, and I was like, one of these is enough. So that was like, I had done okay with the reno. I hadn't put the actual shelf up yet, but I had like went and got this $9 can of paint and painted the closet as I was doing this, and it like was not enough paint. So then I had to like go back to the store like an idiot and ask them to like match the Oops can. And then of course, when I get the new $50 can of paint home and like start painting, it doesn't match the Oops. So I'm in now, like...
That's a double oops.
That's a double oops. And, like, we were supposed to go somewhere. It was, like, I was, like, pushing it on this renovation. We were, like, leaving for the weekend. And I'm, like, having to go to the store, buy this paint. And, like, I just want it done. And I'm, like, I'm a closet pro. Like, you don't understand. Megan's, like, just leave it. Like, we'll come back. We'll do it next week. Like, don't rush. I'm, like, I'm not rushing. Oh, this is my third closet, okay? Like, I'm a closet guy. Like, it's just a little mistake. Just a double oops, triple oops with the paint. And so I'm like rushing through, painting this thing. And then the last thing I had to do was like put this shelf on top of the cubby, which is in the center, and just like secure it. And after this big paint fiasco, you know, like I'm kind of rushing. I just want to get it done. And I had like one of those things where like I should have just had the clarity to like not do it then and get some help, because I kind of cut this shelf a little tight. And I didn't want to go downstairs, didn't want to like trim it again, go through that, make it too short. I'm like, no, I'm going to fit it. So I'm like trying to like reef this thing in, and I'm scraping off all this paint. It's just like a huge mess. I'm getting frustrated, and I finally get it in. I'm like, I'm gonna have to fucking touch up the paint again, but at least it's here. And I like left it sitting just freestanding on top of this cubby and like went to go grab the supports, and this thing fell off and like scraped all down the one side of the wall, and then like swung out this big 3/4 inch plywood board and hit the grate in the floor that I just like matched to our laminate and like blew it into a million pieces. And I just like, I had a real, have you had a renovation freak out yet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I had like just big swears, just big cussing. And Megan's like packing up the car. She's like, you okay, honey? Like I told you to wait. And I was like, you don't tell me nothing. I'm the closet god. Oh yeah. Yeah, I've had that. Yeah. I've had the false confidence fuck me over.
I had it, I was changing light switches, and I did like all the light switches. No problem. Last one in our bedroom, didn't turn off the breaker. So you can see where this is going.
Yeah.
I unhook it, and then I take the screwdriver and I go to detach one of the wires to the grounding plate. And it's just like, huge arc. Like, so I hadn't even gotten the screwdriver to it yet, and it just like arced to the screwdriver. And luckily, the breaker flipped because it was like, no, not okay, and probably like at least saved me. But I definitely thought I was dying in that moment, and it didn't help that just the room went dark, right? Like, I saw this arc, and then everything was dark, and I was just like, oh no, I'm dead. Everything was obviously fine because I'm here to tell you that story, but that was just overconfidence. I was, first time I did it, I was very careful. Breakers off, I'd go double check it. Oh yeah, okay, breakers off. Okay, we're good. I'm gonna go slowly, and I'm gonna make sure everything's hooked up properly. And I'm gonna follow along with the instructions and all of that. And then did that for the second one, the third one, and then I'm getting more and more confident. The last one, I was just like, didn't even think to turn off the breaker, let alone double check it, and almost died.
Electricity, that's the one thing. Electrical, just for fear. Just like even though I know, like I've seen it 1,000 times on YouTube. I've seen like Kev do it. I get my buddy John to come over and do my electrical work. Just even like screwing in the morettes. When the light's off, I'm like, is it off? Like I'm just terrified of that stuff. I don't fuck with electricity, and I have like no understanding of it. That's one thing. I remember when I was doing spring cleanups, I had this like little edger, and it had the connection to the spark plug. And sometimes when you're running it, it would like rattle and the connector would come off the top of the spark plug. And like just one day it came off, and I was just like, oh, I'll just like put that back on like while it's running. Like no harm there. And it buckled me like just like to my knees out in front of like some old lady's house. And I did again. I was just like, I'm like, I'm dead. Like, and I was telling Kev about it, and he's like, yeah, no, man, like that's electricity. Like you're a full idiot. I'm like, yeah. I'm kind of scared of it now. Like that's one, I'll get somebody else to do that.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with electricity. And yeah, I also don't understand it either, especially when you've got like wiring diagrams and you're changing a light. So when we changed the lights in the kitchen when we first moved in, I would like hook it up. All right, go flip the breaker, hun. Let's check it out. And like it just wouldn't turn on because I just, again, this probably aligns with my spatial awareness of the tiles. Is just I'm looking at this electricity diagram of the wiring. And I'm like, cannot like
make sense of it.
I'm just like, it's there. I'm like, there's two wires and a ground, and somehow I cannot properly get these aligned. Yeah, I'm not a smart man. I've decided if there ever is like a Last of Us apocalypse, and it's like Cimarron Vista Circle, we've made this compound, and we're gonna survive the apocalypse together. My best use to the community will be as food. Like I'm contributing. If all the white collar office jobs are gone and we're rebuilding society, it's probably best just to like kill and consume me, because that will be my.
You'd be tasty.
Oh yeah, I've been marbling for many years.
We're Wagyu for sure. I always think about that. Like this is way out there, but like when the alien invasion like signs comes, like I'm gonna make it longer than a lot of people because I'm be like this guy's Iberico pork, like he's AAA. He's been treating his body like a temple.
You gotta wet age that one.
Yeah. I remember that hot tub that we got rid of. There was like this huge it's a big cable, and I'm gonna like mess this up, fact check, but I think it's 50 amps. Does that sound right?
Hot tubs. I don't know what the amperage is, but yeah, I mean they've got their own. You basically need its own wiring to support it. Yeah.
And like it was just like left out there, and I wanted to like get rid of it. It was a mess. And Shano was staying with us at the time, and he like really got in my head because he works with electricity. He does tower climbing, works for a big company, and he was like, "Oh yeah, no, that's enough to stop your heart and then some." And then he just pulls out his phone and shows me like he's got it like loaded, it's bookmarked, just like a highlight reel of guys dying doing dumb, and like one of those where it's like, oh, that guy's dead, like hold my feeding tube type videos, and then like finishes the highlight reel and is like, but you'll be good. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not touching that, man.
Yeah.
Home renovations by Rad Dads.
Don't hire us.
Yeah, we are not a renovation company.
No. I like I said, I won't even do anything else for myself here.
No, hired out. I think that's the lesson learned.
Yeah, that's the takeaway from this episode.
That's our big episode. Don't do it. Hire someone better.
Yeah. Stay in your lane.
Well, hey, man, you know what? I think that it's a real accomplishment that we've made it to 10 episodes. I do want to reiterate that the Rad Dad Variety Night has some fantastic acts. I think it's official now. We can say that our boy Geese of the Natural Ensemble is going to be playing that show. He's going to be closing it out, doing a fantastic set. Our good friend Ben Marsh is going to come out and do an acoustic singer-songwriter type set, maybe even two, keep the night going. And of course, the raddest dad of all, yet to be determined, live in concert. Dex is doing his one-of-a-kind stand-up routine, and we want everyone to come out. It's gonna be so hype. We're gonna do a silent auction. We've got some small businesses on board. Some nice packages for you to, make a little bid on, support the Okotoks Food Bank, and raise money for a good cause. So July 22nd at Big Beaver Brewing, that is going down. And don't be afraid to email us, raddadredemptionpodcast@gmail.com, which we'll start putting on like our outstanding reels that we've been producing and like our Instagram. We got shade for that the other day. I was just like doing like a little self-deprecating, like, yeah, I think our reels kind of suck. Gee's like, oh yeah, they're bad.
I'm here to help.
We got him coming out to do some live work with us. Expect Rad Dad's not only a podcast but a visual. What do you call it? A visual accoutrement.
Yeah.
Visual accompaniment.
It was really funny when he was like setting it up and taking it very seriously. He's got all the equipment, and you and I were just like, "Oh, it looks like we're gonna film like porn." Yeah, we were like pretending to suck each other and jerk each other. Like,
this is great.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
And that joke did not get old.
No, we just kept coming back to it.
It did feel like we were on the casting couch.
He's got fantastic stuff. He's got cool stuff, and he's gonna do a good job. And his business idea, or business that he's running with. I think he's going to do really well because it's not just the expensive equipment and the production side of things, but he's also offering, which we desperately need, a little bit of that coaching, a little bit of that like how to be filmed, And it's harder than it fucking looks.
Well, it's weird to be on sometimes it feels weird even just to like record this, but nobody's watching us, so you feel very comfortable in that sense.
Yeah.
And then when you're on camera, it's like we can't necessarily just stare at each other longingly into each other's eyes.
And we've gotten over that. We hot mic it. We're doing it live. We're getting better at that. But yeah, the video is a whole other thing. You're like, oh man, you're gonna look at me. Yeah. And I had that experience. I was talking about it last time with the fishing video. I hired the production company to come out, and like they very much asked me beforehand. They're like, do you want us to prepare some stuff for you? Do you want us to like have a script? Do you want to write some things down? And I was like, no, man, I don't think like
I have 9 episodes of a podcast behind me.
Yeah, I'm very funny. I'm very off the cuff. I don't fucking need that shit. I needed it. The minute we sat down to do, they're like, all right, like what is your business? Like what does Slew Shark Industries actually provide to its customer? I was like, I like a fish. you like fish? Yeah, it was fucking brutal. And so in talking with Geese, he's like, no, I'll help with that specifically. Like, you got to come across. So excited for him to do that. And again, full circle, excited for us to have accomplished 10 episodes, man. Congrats. We're going to shake hands live on air. That's a firm grip.
A firm Rad Dad grip. We talked about doing this. You want to do our top 10 favorite moments countdown?
Top 10 favorite Rad Dad moments thus far.
Yeah.
Do we have a jingle? Do we have our nice voice lady?
Yeah. I've got the countdown.
You've got but is it a top 5 and now you got the top 10? Oh, Rad Dad countdown.
Oh yeah, I got her to count down from 100 just in case we needed that many numbers. I got a whole lot of numbers.
Only prime numbers. We did a lot of takes.
Yeah. So we haven't seen each other's lists. I feel like we might have some overlap, but
I think so.
Rad Dad countdown. 10.
You want to start us off, or do you want? Yeah, come on. I want to hear your top 10. I'm excited.
I gotta go find my note. Do you have your note in front of you?
Let me just pull it up here.
Okay, I got mine. Okay. I didn't put these in any particular order, but one of my favorite things that people wouldn't necessarily be aware of is all the like really off color and inappropriate jokes that I need to edit out after the fact, where we're like let's try not to get ourselves canceled. We're still like, we need our jobs and stuff. Yeah, so it's an ongoing joke.
Yeah, I think there's definitely been episodes. I actually heard feedback from my wife today. She's like, yeah, it wasn't my favorite episode. I was like, you should have heard the shit that we didn't fucking put out. We said some shit. Yeah, that's definitely a favorite moment of mine. I agree.
Yeah. We're not afraid of anything
No.
except the general public at large and their opinions.
Yeah, and keeping our jobs.
9,
My first one here is that time Dex laughed so hard he shit his pants while recording.
That was in the deleted episode. Yeah. One of the main reasons why we deleted it.
One of my favorite Rad Dad moments all time.
So I see we've got two very different lists because I actually made a list of actual things that have happened.
Okay, Dex.
Okay.
8,
This is a good one. Going back to Car Talk for Hot Car Guys episode, what was that, 6, 7? I don't know.
That got muddy there. It
Yeah,
got muddy. We
yeah.
didn't know. It was good. I love one of my
but
favorites.
making light of murder threats against a local business owner, like
Yeah.
just what is objectively a very serious situation. Somebody has threatened to kill this man with their vehicle, and we made a jingle about it and made lots of jokes, and we laughed
favorite.
about it, and so obviously he was probably scared for his life at some point, but to us that was hilarious.
Yeah, an absolute classic moment.
7,
My next one here is that time Dex made burnt ends and sharded in his shorts while recording. You make a good burnt end. You're a fantastic cook, but we gotta watch how many we eat before we get on the mics.
It's all the fiber that I drink.
It's the Metamucil.
Oh yeah, the thing is you can't eat a whole tray of burnt ends and wash them down with a big tall frosty glass of Metamucil. Yeah.
Dr. Dew, half Mountain Dew, half coffee, mate. Yeah, that's a tough rip.
6,
Okay, other thing that has totally definitely happened. All the way back to episode 1, me thinking that I invented the Baja Men.
That is actually so classic. And then that you were unaware.
I was unaware until like a week later when we were talking about it, and obviously Baja Men of Who Let the Dogs Out fame, I totally missed that. I thought that I was so clever in the moment. I said Baja Men, thought it was an original thing.
Like Bahaman.
Oh yeah, I had already like secured the copyright to the Baja Men musical group, and we were gonna take off with that, and turns out it's a thing. So
Baja Life.style. Check us out.
5,
The next one I got here, one of my favorite all-time moments on the podcast is definitely the time that we had to move the mic setup into the bathroom because you were shitting so much that we just couldn't record on the couches, so we had to do the whole episode in the bathroom.
good acoustics.
That was the audio that was really difficult to listen to. That was our conspiracy theories episode. That was the truth behind it.
Yeah, that was we can't lie. We can only lie for so long. You know? So
we can only make stuff up for so long.
4,
okay, here's another one from me. Stevie Wonder Can See. Such a good moment.
Almost made my list.
It almost made your list?
It almost made
my
my
list.
list.
I've just pooped myself too many times, eh?
Yeah, well, I mean, all these times that this has happened, it's just that's what I think about when I think about our podcast. But the original, I think that's what actually saved that episode, because we were like, I don't know, Dex being from radio and being like very mindful of our audio. That was like a near trash. We did the like preface, like, hey, I don't know if you guys are going to understand, but like we had some good stuff. We're not going to let perfect get in the way of good. But it was specifically that bit. We were dying laughing at Stevie Wonder Could See. And that was also an episode that we cut a lot of stuff. Like, we actually can't say that on podcasts. That's on the dark web next to Roomba shit pics. Like that's we can't do that.
Yeah, just go on Pornhub and search Rad Dad Redemption Red Band.
Stevie Can See.
3,
My next one here is that time that you couldn't make it all the way to the bathroom and had to Baja butt blast into a Mountain Dew bottle.
That's that's why they call us the Baja Man, right?
The look of sheer disappointment on Dex's face.
I put time into an actual list.
Dex, write down your top.
And you know what's funny is you were like, write down your top 5 moments, and I'm like rocking Kaylee to sleep, and it's like, maybe a little over half an hour before we're gonna sit down. I was like, okay, like I guess like I'll do this. So I'm like rocking her with one arm, and I'm writing this list, and I took it very seriously. I shouldn't have.
Oh, okay. What's your next one? Yeah, what do you mean you shouldn't have? Yours are great. I love yours. And mine are just, I'm sorry, those are the things that stand out to me.
2,
back to episode 2. Actually, I have 2 here. I'm gonna tie them into one because it's my
No. Do one. I got one, and then you give me your last one.
Then it's gonna be a top 11. Let's keep it a top 10. I'll tell it because they're related. My awful movie ideas that you were just incredulous at, and it sort of started with B movie 2, and you're like, okay, like doesn't sound like nobody asked for that. And then when I was like, we need more Mission Impossible, you were like, no.
That is a franchise. We need more Fast and Furious.
And in that same episode was, I think we finished strong with Gordon Lightfoot as Avatar.
Oh. Yeah, whatever, Josh. Our memes don't suck, man. The Gordon Lightfoot in Blueface. I love that one. Oh, man. Yeah.
All right, take us home.
1.
Okay, so my last one is a real one. This, I'm going to get mushy a little bit. You and I have been friends for a long time. And admittedly, like in my 20s, I was not being like a very good friend to anyone. I was just kind of like doing my own thing. And we had a real renaissance. I was always very surprised when you asked me to like be a part of your wedding party. I was
trying to pull you out of the gutter.
Get me back on track. And I was always floored. I was like, wow, okay, yeah, like we really do go back. And this has given us such not only a creative outlet to explore and have a lot of fun with each other and kind of like flex some of these funny muscles and pursue other things, but it's really given you and I a chance to hang out a lot more. And I love you, buddy. I have such a good time playing in the golf league. We're gonna do another one. Gonna go stink it up live. Those are some of my favorite moments. Actually, like joining the Rad Dad Golf League at River's Edge and just letting Dex do total paint jobs on the bathroom.
Yeah. Just like, I love you too. And I am going to work on my digestive issues. I'm gonna book that appointment I've been talking about for so long.
But no, man, this has been great. I've had such a blast. And here's to another 10 more, buddy. It's been great.
Cheers.
Clank.
And cheers to you for listening.
Yeah, thanks so much. Peace out.
Listen to the next show and find out how many Jolly Ranchers you have to eat in order to become an actual rancher.